Thanks for watching the last video. It was rough. It was my first video ever. So this is going to be the first in the fire series. Right now I want to do elements in each individual video. That way it's not a 20-minute video like it was last time. But this is going to be about moon signs. And right now we're going to focus on Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo, the fire elements. I think what can anger any of the fire signs is feeling like they're not given the chance to speak or the proper respect to be understood. And that's very important to fire signs because they constantly need to feel understood in order to further understand things. I feel if they feel written off, they're not going to give whatever is making them feel that way the time of day. Which can be a struggle at times because sometimes they need to practice patience and discipline to reach the goal that they're trying to achieve. And I believe without that it can be more challenging because not every situation in life you can handle through aggression or overly asserting yourself into a situation. So I'm going to use my own Twitter thread on moon signs as a reference point, but I will link that below in case you haven't already seen it. So first, Aries is very lively, very bold. People with moon in Aries are extremely animated. They have a lot to say and they have a lot to express in the world. They can be really entertaining to watch just in general because they always have something to say and they're always doing something. They are ruled by Mars. Mars is your drive, your passion, what motivates you. And that is why Aries, I believe, is who they are. I have not met an Aries sun or moon that has been very shy to stand up for what they believe in and express who they are and what they are in the world. They're very assertive and they're very full of expression. Aries moon specifically, very carpe diem, very seize the day, will not take no for an answer. They will continue to do what they want until they get that yes. And they don't even always need that yes. Half of the time they will do whatever they want with or without your permission. They're the person at a haunted house that will go and volunteer first to walk through because they're not afraid of much. They're just very brave people. There's really no other way to explain it. For a sun sign, they're very loud, lively, vivacious. Aries moon is a little more, I want to say, reserved. Maybe they will feel out a situation a little bit more before they act on it. They are impulsive and they do like to do things and think after, but they may not overtly express this in, I would say, extroverted ways. They could be more softer or have a softer approach on how to navigate things, but they will still at times, if not fully developed, play somewhat of a martyr complex or perhaps start like a drama or start issues in their life just to watch it kind of happen because they get bored easily. More likely to succeed in life because of this, but they're also more likely to go through or undergo a lot of drastic and hard situations that don't necessarily need to be as hard as they will make them because they need to constantly exert themselves. And I feel like if they were to tone it down and maybe learn not everything in life requires a reaction, I believe that could help them a lot. So yeah. Next, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius is kind of seen stereotypically as like this backpacker that's navigating through life on a whim and thirsty for exploration and needs to constantly be, out in a field observing or doing something. They're kind of this weird combination of like if Aries and Gemini had a child because they are so impulsive and they are so free-spirited, but at the same time they are very innovative and imaginative and they constantly need to be expanding their perception in life and feeling enlightened or like they're learning something to feel like they are being put to good use, like whether it's learning or practicing a hobby or starting a new task that they may not ever finish, constantly trying to push past their barriers or their limits in life to expand on or learn something. Very, very curious creatures. Guillermo del Toro, who just won Shape of Water, congratulations. He is a Sagittarius moon. I myself am also a Sagittarius moon. Sagittarius sun and moon placements need that exploration in life to feel fulfilled, but maybe not as literally as I feel a lot of people take it. I think a lot of people who have these placements surprisingly like to just stay home and veg out on the couch and not be out with a backpack hiking. I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel like they're definitely more inclined to want to do those things, but the stereotype behind them always needing to be out doing something is a bit mechanical. They need to constantly be expanding their thoughts and their speech and their mind, and that can be just as easily fulfilled by like reading a book or binge watching a series on Netflix. Those are things that I feel equally fulfill them as individuals, as perhaps, I don't know, backpacking through Europe would. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so they're very like just naturally lucky in their endeavors. Things come easier to them, I feel, at times, because they're so free-spirited and they're so just open to the world, and they're so ready to like let go of things and forget and just move forward. It's just like Aries in a way. I do feel like that's why they are ruled by the planet of luck and fortune. They need to stick up for the underdog, and that's so important because we do need people, especially in times like now more than ever, to really just not be afraid to take a stand and voice the opinions that they strongly believe in. I do feel like sometimes Sagittarius placements can be a lot more severely cutthroat than they realize they're being, and they can dish it out and completely like ridicule someone brutally, and then the minute that they're being ridiculed, it's interesting because I don't feel like they can handle it as well as I feel they can dish it. Next we have Leo sun and moon, seen to be very extroverted, very dramatic and grand and big gestures, and constantly kind of like the snooty rich woman on a yacht that's sipping bubbly and kind of like, oh darling, like, you know, you're doing it wrong and everything I do is fabulous, kind of like this vain, vanity focused misconception. But surprisingly, a lot of the people with Leo placements that I've met are very quiet and standoffish and maybe even a little unsure of themselves. Maybe I see this more than other people because I have Leo placements. Are prone to being deflective and overly defensive and kind of like sulking if they don't get their way or if like something that they were excited about falls through. They are like this idea of a teenager in my head. Teenagers typically react to things in this very like slow, long indifference, but underneath that there is a lot of concern that is very apparent to everyone around them. I feel like that's a lot to me what Leo embodies. Leo moons are a lot more, I've noticed, bubbly and laid back and I don't want to say like sweet because I don't want to sound like Leo suns aren't sweet, but I do notice like Leo moons have more of a like glow about them. Maybe like the defensive behavior isn't as strongly in moons because they don't feel like maybe the sun element of them isn't constantly keeping them guarded to protect them. And I feel like Leo suns constantly have like a reputation to uphold, and they're more focused on how they're being seen in a way that I feel a Leo moon is more relaxed about, because in astrology, moons are more focused on emotion and how they are taking something in and perceiving something and feeling about something. They always are looking for the bright or the positive side of things. They always want the best. And Leos just have such a way to, when they've developed, detach from a situation and look at it in a way that helps or meets the greater good of the world around them. Like Obama, for example, is a Leo. They have a way of making people excited about them and excited about the way they personally view the world. And I think that's a really rare gift for people. If they don't want to change their mind about something, they can be really difficult. And I understand the reputation that they get because not everything is about Leo. But Leo has a way of exerting themselves and implementing that narrative constantly. And I feel like that can be draining for other people in their lives because, maybe sometimes they want to focus on another topic instead of what's happening in that Leo moon or sun person's life. But like I said, Leo moons are more open and more, I feel, naturally more developed. When underdeveloped, I could see them having those like negative tendencies that all Leo stereotypes attach, like stubborn and like manipulative and martyr. But at the same time, I don't feel like they have that defense mechanism as strongly as Leo sun people do. And Leo sun people constantly feel like they are under a microscope, and I think that's why they get this like naturally defensive behavior. I think if they just learned to chill and be less focused on the self, the things that they want to be seen for them, and how people view them as, would come naturally if they just got rid of the need to constantly validate themselves and be concerned about what others think of them. Then like the good qualities could show through. But yeah, those are just some little tidbits of fire elements and behaviors attached to those signs. You can apply that to sun, moon, Venus, rising. I mean, those are just basic core astrological signs. Come on, your moon in your emotional compass, that's how you deal with emotions. So your moon sign is, in my opinion, I believe it's more important than your sun sign. So yeah, that's completes this video. I hope this was okay. I don't know, I'm new at this. My next video will be another element video, either focusing on earth, water, or air. If you want to vote, because I will do another poll on which one to do next, just follow my Twitter. So yeah.